And I'm going to start with this knitted background stencil because I want to start simple and just try and give you lots of ideas to use your stencils because, like I said, they are such an affordable product that it's, you know, we can have them in our stash. I'm just going to get some cardstock here. And it's no good having them and not using them. Now, you can use things like pixie spray, or these non-permanent sprays you can get from craft stores. I find they work well on the really intricate designs, or if you're going to be doing some watercoloring. And with just simple ink blending, this is my first technique. I find if I hold it, it tends to be enough. And these big, I don't know if you've ever tried these big blenders before, but they are my favorite. I could never get a nice even blend, ever get a nice even blend, especially with the dye inks. I could only do it on Bristol Smooth, and I could only do with the distress inks. That was the only way I could get a nice even blend. And then Altenew brought out these, and there's a few different companies that make them, but they are a game changer for me. And I'm just using Nina 80-pound cardstock. I'm not using any special. See, Bristol Smooth's quite an expensive cardstock. And, you know, if you just want to do a quick background, I'd rather keep that kind of cardstock for my watercolors and things. So if you're having trouble getting a nice even blend, maybe it might be worth just trying a different tool. And I go, oh, I just want to be able to blend like that, like a grown-up, like Laura. And to be honest, I just couldn't do it unless I was using the Bristol, and then it wouldn't match my other cardstocks, and we all know that upsets me too. I've got to have the matchy white. So when I tried these out for the first time, I just was astounded. So literally with the ink blending and stencils, like that's done. I've got, I kind of thought I'd do a couple of different colors, but how's that? How pretty is that? I'm gonna do some dry embossing with our stencil. Just to stretch it that little bit further, you can actually use your stencil to add an impression, like a debossing. I always get it the wrong way around. So this time I'm using my Big Shot, but you can work out whatever sandwich works for you. I've got my stencil, because I always have to try and remember my sandwich here. A cardstock, and this is a fairly thick cardstock. It's the Concord and Ninth. It's the pink one. I can't remember the name of it. And then the thing that's going to allow you to get the impression is a rubber mat, and sometimes they'll be called like a tan mat. So that goes on next. Now I'm on tab 1, and then you have a top plate. Now I already know that this isn't going to be, because it's such a thick cardstock, and I haven't spritzed it with water. Some people just do a really light spritz with water on the cardstock to help get a better impression. But I already know that that's not going to be enough pressure. So I could add a card shim. These are iCrafted. They're like, they're a 3-pack shim. So instead of using cardstock, I'm going to try using one of them, and I can always come back and add another one after. You could practice on a piece of cardstock too if you don't want to waste your final panel, if you're not sure, but we're going to just go for it. And let's see if it worked. Oh, it looks good from this side. Now, can you see that? It's quite subtle. Okay, Embossing paste. Now this is like a classic way to use a stencil. Now, normally, say you get a background stencil, and then you can use embossing pastes over the top. I just did a video recently. Oh, I don't think I linked that one below, but I'll try and remember to do it afterwards. But I created 2 cards with the blended, you know, the big roses from Altenew, and I added embossing paste to one that I pre-colored. So you can just get white embossing paste. You can also buy colored ones like the lunar pastes and things that have that metallic kind of look to them. So there's a lot of fun products out there. But I got this stencil paste. It's from Lawn Fawn and it's a clear one. So I thought we'd use that. The other one that I like to use is, this is the iridescent, I think it is, Glitz Glitter Gel from Gina K. And I like the ones that are clear because then I can add it on to colour or add colour rather than, I find I buy them, the coloured ones, and I just typically don't use them quick enough so they dry out. I've started putting the, what's that stuff called? Press and seal on the inside of the jar. So the good thing about things like embossing paste and stencil paste is that you can, on a stencil like this one, this layered stencil, and what I did in my video the other day is I just was able to add the paste to one section. You can just highlight something, and that's what we're going to do. I'm going to try out this clear paste from Lawn Fawn with some paper towel. But literally you just put it in on the same way you put, whoops, normal embossing paste. Normal, so regular. Now I've got, like I said, I've got a bowl of water sitting beside me here, so I will be just putting this stencil straight into that. Can you see this has gone a bit pink now? So I won't be putting this bit of gel back into the tub. I need a bigger craft space to sit this so it can dry, because you know what I'm going to do, don't you? Touch it. All right. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that. It actually has added a little bit of dimension and also made those pink circle flowers shiny. How cool is that? This is probably the hardest one I'm going to do today, but I need to try to do the first section. It's going to be painting through a stencil. You can easily paint through any stencil either with watercolors or use inks. You can smush inks on the side, pick it up with your brush and paint through. But I thought I'd try this layered stencil from Altenew. And I have, because it's a, I have actually sprayed the back of this with the Pixie spray, but you don't have to. The one I did the other day, I didn't spray at all. I didn't have any real problems with it. So you don't have to be an artist. You can literally just paint through the stencil. Now I have got, this is Bristol Smooth cardstock. So it's not watercolor, it's just a quite a tolerant, Bristol cardstock is really quite tolerant to water. And I'm hoping that the Pixie spray will just help. I think this is a leaf from memory. It's been a while since I've used this. I'm just going to lift that up carefully. So it's not perfect. It was never going to be. it's water through a stencil. I'm just going to, this one's going to have to be done in a couple of sections. So I am going to use the darker pink this time, and because this is the, what is it? Shadow layer, that's what it is. But you see where I'm going. It doesn't have to be, oh, it's not very lined up straight. That's better. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm literally just putting a darker color in. Like, this is not rocket science. And you can see my stencil has shifted a little bit, hasn't it? See, how easy was that? This is another great way to use stencils, and I thought I'd try, because this isn't the type of stencil I'd normally spray through. I'd usually get something a bit more like this and create like a striped background with the sprays, but I thought, well, we'll try something a bit different, which is the like, this is called Mega Rose. It's just beautiful, and I think I'll put it down backwards. That matters. But these alternate ink sprays, I don't even know if they spray. I usually unscrew it and just tap the ink, but we'll give it a try. If they don't spray, we won't use them. Oh, look at that, it worked. So another great way to use a stencil is with sprays. But I thought I'd need to spray this one to actually make this show through a bit. A lot. Man, sick. I think it's probably because I've hardly ever used them. It looks like someone's been massacred here. All right, where's my thingy? Paper towel. This is going to be funny. Let's see how it goes. Oh, you really can't see that, can you? Not very well. That's a bit of a disappointment. I should have stuck with plan A and done stripes. But what I'll do is let that dry, and I'm going to come back and add more spray after and deepen it up. And then I'll make a card out of it, and you can see that at my blog. You can stamp with a stencil. That was the other thing I wanted to try. You can just look at any of the stencils that you got. Like, they are so inexpensive compared to some of the supplies that we have. And when you can do so many different things with them, like, I could just tip this over and stamp it as it is. Will I do that? Or you can actually just spritz it with a little bit of water and make it look a little bit more watercolory. So I'm thinking, I'm kind of feeling like I'd spent a half an hour looking for my watercolor bottle, and now I'm not even going to use it. I think the hard thing's going to be lifting it up. I just leave it. Oh no, it didn't work. Okay, I do need to press. I think I do need to run it through my die cutting machine. Try again. Yes, I do need to spritz it. Okay, we'll do that. Yeah. I'll make this work. I feel a little bit of pressure, but not a lot, so hopefully that's going to work. We'll see. Woo! Yay. This is just Nina £80. But I don't know, I have fun. I have fun making backgrounds. So if you haven't seen it already, check out my first video, which I called Handmade Background Ideas. I mean, I know they're all handmade. I kind of laugh when I did that, but it was using things that you probably already have. Whereas this time I kind of focused on using stencils and using them in different ways. So, but also using the backgrounds to make into cards, because there's no point in having a massive stash of backgrounds and not using them. So hopefully when you see the finished cards, it might inspire you as well. I do hope you guys were inspired today to get your stencils out and have a play. And I really appreciate you taking your time out of your day and spending it with me.